Hello and welcome to MacFormat's weekly Apple Extravaganza. I'm Chris Finn.
I'm Matt Bolton.
And on this episode we talk about NFC.
Hot new products.
And a product that's not especially hot, an iPad case, but it's actually quite a nice one. So we shall show you that and let you come to your own decisions. Let's start with news in the world of Apple. Now, there's a certain hubris in me bringing up an iPhone 6 rumour as we record this, given that this show will still be live after the iPhone 6 has been announced.
Yes, and for all eternity.
Yeah. But going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Now, NFC,
Yep.
which is a short-range wireless communication standard,
Near-field communication.
or nobody freaking cares, as somebody is apparently sometimes referred to.
Are you trying to get sued?
There are rumours that it will come to the iPhone 6.
Yes.
Now, obviously, in all these rumours that happen, there's an element of wish fulfillment and an element of people casting around the tech industry, looking at what the iPhone doesn't have, and then saying, oh, the next one will have this.
Yes.
But the NFC thing is mildly interesting, and one thing in particular got me thinking about it quite a lot. Now, obviously, one of the use cases for NFC, apart from to facilitate pairing of Bluetooth speakers and that kind of stuff, is payments.
Yes.
And we've talked about this for a while. And NFC-based payments have been around for a long time on mobile phones. Now, obviously, NFC is part of the RFID family. I was going to say spec, but that's almost certainly wrong. But family of technologies.
Yeah.
And we've used RFID for a very, very long time. If you live in London, we use an Oyster card. It's exactly that. But NFC specifically on mobile phones, to use your mobile phone as a payment card, has been around for a while, but never taken off.
Right.
We've had Google Wallet. There's various initiatives from Vodafone.
This is a while in the cutting-edge tech sense.
Yeah.
In that
3 years maybe.
Is it even that long?
Yeah. Google Wallet's still in the US. It's still US only, incidentally. I was checking. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The US is about to move to chip and pin. So
Yep.
the US has been using just signatures for stuff. The US has to move to chip and pin, which necessitates anyway that all the point of sale stuff gets updated.
Yeah.
At which point it's a good excuse for everything to be updated to include NFC.
Or
as a
contactless payments.
Contactless payments, exactly. Yeah. So actually, maybe it is a perfect storm of Apple's got security in place now with biometric data, with Touch ID,
Yeah.
which is to say that before maybe you PIN protected your payments on an Android mobile phone, which is comparatively insecure. Not actually insecure, but comparatively insecure. And there's a layer of complexity in doing those payments as well.
Yeah.
But they've got Touch ID, they've got the security in place, they could add the technology comparatively simply, and maybe it's the time that the US suddenly gets the infrastructure in place that allowed this to happen.
With the PIN side of it, or rather using the fingerprint instead of the PIN, obviously you can't do that because if it's like Visa's contactless payment spec, there's no PIN for under whatever it is, £15-20.
Yep.
But above that you do need a PIN, and it has to be a PIN. It can't be the fingerprint.
Do you know that to be definitely true? Like,
well, there's no
But what about if the PIN is stored on whatever secure enclave stores your Touch ID data, and all you're doing is unlocking the PIN? So what actually happens is the PIN gets squirted.
Well, this is fine. This is possible if Apple makes it possible, but you can't you wouldn't really be using your fingerprint as security. It would be almost like iCloud keychain. Yeah. In that it stores your PIN and you use your fingerprint to unlock.
Yes, I see the point you're making.
Which means using your phone is more secure, but your actual account is no more or less secure because you're still just inputting a PIN.
That's true. That is true. But at least the unlocking process is I'm always way of saying more secure, but the unlocking process is less open to abuse. So, for example, you could steal someone's phone, try and make a payment, and guess the PIN is 1234 or 0000. Yeah. But you can't do the same with a fingerprint.
No, although you can still guess that the PIN of the phone is 1234
if that's
on a Touch ID phone.
If that's the PIN of the phone, yes. Although I use a passphrase on my phone rather than a PIN. But that was quite cool. The other thing I wanted to really briefly talk about was people worry about... it really annoyed me because there's a lot of real naysayers going, well, this is stupid because what if your phone dies? You can't, and you've gone out for a night, your phone dies, you haven't taken your wallet because this is your card.
It's your own fault for not taking your wallet.
I think, yeah, these are like there are always going to be edge cases where technology doesn't work, but to suggest that they are in and of themselves reasons not to use that technology seems stupid to me.
Yeah, like I could lose my wallet and all my cards would go. That doesn't make cards stupid.
Yeah.
I don't start distributing cash around my body, robbers. I don't do this. Just in case one of my pockets breaks.
Do pockets break? Is that how it ceases to your pockets crash?
That's the problem.
So that just seemed like a kind of daft thing to do for me. Also, and I didn't have time to get an answer to this before I came to record this, but if NFC is part of the RFID family of products, now RFID we know can be triggered with no power. That is to say that the act of the radio waves emitting from a device to trigger an RFID tag are enough to power that tag to respond with data. Is it conceivable? I believe there is a power off spec for NFC. That is to say that it can itself be activated by a payment terminal, at which point the whole thing's moot. Anyway, this might not be a thing. iPhone 6 might not have NFC.
Then you'd need your card data stored somewhere that it could be accessed.
Potentially unencrypted as well, or dodgily in some way.
Depends on how it's done, I guess. But because obviously your card has your card information available for contactless payment and has no power. Yeah. But it would mean there'd have to be some way for the phone to transfer that to the dead NFC thing that's...
No, but the payment terminal would be the live thing that pushes the signal to the thing to activate it. Anyway, iPhone 6 might not even have NFC, but if you're watching this after Tuesday 9th September, you will know what it has anyway, and it might have made everything I've said either seem incredibly prescient or utterly bollocks.
I know which I'm betting on.
Let's move on to the wider world of tech.
This week, and sometimes it feels like for all time, is the IFA conference in Berlin, which is a big trade show where lots of companies show off lots of new things. There's been a few things come out of it. There's a couple that I'm going to pick up on just to chat about. One is Samsung's new smartwatches.
And you say smartwatches advisedly.
There were another 2 announced. And how many do they have in total now,
7
Chris? 6. Can you name them?
No, there's a Gear. Is there a Gear S?
There is
a new one.
One of the new ones is a Gear S.
And I'm out.
There's the Galaxy Gear, the Gear 2, the Gear S, the Gear Fit, the Gear Neo, and the Gear Live.
The word gear has started to sound really strange to me.
Gear. And Samsung also announced the Note 4, which is another big phone, and the Note Edge, which is at least interesting for technology proof of concept, a little bit like on this show we were talking about the edge-to-edge display from Sharp Aquos being a nice proof of concept. This is sort of a phone with one curved edge with icons kept seemingly permanently on it, so that you've always got shortcuts to certain apps. Really nice idea if you're right-handed. Well,
if you're left-handed, just turn the phone upside down. It's not a terrible problem. I wouldn't have thought. I saw those concerns, but it's like,
does it work the other way up?
I don't know, but it would seem silly. Obviously, like the home button would be at the wrong place.
It would seem silly. It would seem silly to make something that only works one-handed. But here we are.
And yet here we are. Well, but we don't know that. It might work left-handed as well. But the idea...
Also, what happens when someone calls?
So the idea is that the phone itself is a regular-looking phone, but on the right-hand edge of it, the screen curves around the edge of it. So you've got this sort of strip of screen, which looks quite cool.
Yeah.
And gives you access to, as you say, a whole bunch of shortcuts to stuff.
I can imagine you could use it for notifications or something, that extra strip, so that they don't come onto the main screen when you're doing something. And as I say, loads of shortcuts to stuff. It's a nice idea.
Yeah.
And we've seen variants of it in other things that have like a second screen. Yes. Fancy gaming laptops that have a little OLED touch screen that you can put shortcuts on and stuff.
Do you remember ages and ages ago, 10 years ago, Microsoft had a standard for little screens on the outside of laptops?
Yes.
It had a
that was
name.
with Vista.
Yeah.
I can't remember
what it was called, but that was the same basic idea. And to be honest, it's still an idea that has validity, because very often, and it's one of those...
that was on the outside, so it was slightly mad.
Well, it was, but the idea was that if your machine was shut and closed, you still get notifications of incoming emails or...
Now we have phones.
I was going to say tweets, but that didn't exist.
not back then. Maybe
just an SMS. Yeah. But that's one of the reasons I love. Do you remember there's a company that makes a really interesting, although ultimately obviously doomed, phone, which has got it's just a regular LED screen on one side and a e-ink screen on the other.
Yes.
And the idea with that is that the e-ink screen obviously draws no power when it's not changing. When it's just displaying a thing, you can display it forever because of the physical state change. e-ink is really cool. Let me tell you about e-ink really quickly. The basic way e-ink works is, this isn't literally true, it's a bit of a lie to children, but if you imagine a sphere, a ball that is half painted white and half painted black, the idea is that when the screen changes, these balls, these pixels, literally rotate, and so just display the black or the white. It's actually not that. I think it's like a little sort of capsule with positively charged black particles that get pushed to the top or pulled to the bottom or something like that. But it's really cool technology, and it means that once it's changed, once the state's changed, it remains like that forever. And this is a cool idea because you got the colour screen, information, put it down, and you're still just stuff there that's coming in quietly, not consuming much power. It's clever.
We featured in MacFormat magazine not too long ago an iPhone case that had an e-ink screen on the back that could tell you what kind of notification you just received, and just would come up with a thing that, like an email icon or a Twitter icon or whatever. 7
smartwatches.
Six smartwatches.
Six smartwatches plus Sony's announced.
5 gold.
Sony has done a new one. LG's done a couple of new ones, I think, haven't they? At IFA.
Yep.
So it's hotting up. But the thing is, it's hotting up, but like they're all doing the same thing.
Yes.
Although the interesting thing about the Gear S is that it needs a Samsung something, S5 probably, to start it, to pair it, to get it going. But thereafter it can act standalone. There's a SIM in it.
Oh, okay. So that one is a independent entity.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know why you'd need a other phone to get it going, but you needed iTunes to get your iPhone going for a while.
Back in the day,
Back in the day. Lastly, quickly, the Sony QX1.
Oh, this is the snap-on lens, isn't it?
This is a camera that's just a lens and a sensor and a Wi-Fi connector, Wi-Fi antenna. So you hook it onto your, say, iPhone or Android phone or whatever, and there's the Sony Play Memories app, I think it is, connects to this half a camera over Wi-Fi, and your phone becomes the camera control
and viewfinder,
and the rest is a compact system camera level APS-C, 20 megapixels, so really nice, potentially.
And the interesting thing with this one as well, I think
interchangeable lenses.
That's the thing. So they've done this before, and I think, but it was a fixed, super zoom lens. But this time it's got an E-mount on it, so you can actually attach Sony's lenses.
Stick your pancake, stick your normal, stick your pancake on.
Just stick your pancake on, folks. That's a particular type of lens, I should point out. Matt isn't advocating, on this occasion, attaching comestibles to your technology.
For once. Yes. That's going to be really interesting. I'm quite keen to have a go on one of those, so hopefully soon. You
can also use it standalone. You don't have to connect to your phone, but
it can just be a weird kind of.
Or at least you could with the other one. I can't remember if it's true with this one, but obviously there's no viewfinder, so there's a certain serendipity in that.
But yeah, so I think that's an interesting. Everyone's camera, well, lots of people's camera is just their phone now. This at least offers an upgrade path from your phone instead of insisting you carry around 2 devices, even if it is sort of 2 devices. Yeah,
it's a slightly mad product, it has to be said, but potentially quite cool. Let's move on to our kit for this week. We see quite a lot of iPhone cases and iPad cases at MacFormat, so it takes quite something interesting to catch our eye. And this is the Knomo Mini Power. Knomo is a company
The Nomad Mini Power.
Yes, well done.
From Knomo.
It's the Knomo Nomad Mini Power. It costs £119, which is a lot of money.
It is.
But the reason it costs £119, Mr. Cameraman, if you come here, is that inside it there is a battery pack. And in fact, you can buy this without the battery pack, and it's £45. So the battery pack is quite expensive.
Fairly expensive.
It's 80-90 quid. You can buy it standalone as well.
It does come with a lightning cable and a micro USB cable.
Which is the really we also see a lot of battery packs at MacFormat, and this is actually a really, really nice one. So the idea is we can slip that in there. I could take my iPhone if it wasn't filming, attach it up to the lightning adapter here and slide it in there. I could take my iPad mini if it wasn't being used as our timer and slide it in there. And that would be charging my phone.
And you've got your pen and your business cards and all the things you need for
all that sort of stuff.
Metropolitan lifestyle.
Snap it together and off I go.
Yeah.
But don't go away. But the nice thing about this power supply is it's quite big. It's 5,000 milliamp hours, so it's a decent capacity.
Yep.
So that'll charge your iPhone 2, maybe 3 times.
2.5, 3, and it'll nearly charge an iPad mini Retina.
Exactly. But what's particularly nice about it is it's quite nicely built. You get a little indicator there for
Very slim line.
Very slim line. It is as slim as an iPhone, I think. But this is particularly nice. So we have here the lightning cable connected to it, but here in the side, tucked away, is a micro USB cable. So there's 2 benefits to that. One is that obviously you can charge a micro USB device by swapping those cables over. If you've got an Android phone, like some crazy person, then you can charge that up. Happy days. But the other quite nice thing, of course, is that this cable becomes the cable with which you charge the battery pack up itself by plugging that in there and then plugging that into a USB socket on your computer or something. Neat.
It is very tidy.
It's a nice little thing. I like it a lot.
And it's Knomo, so it's expensive, but it's really nicely made.
Yeah.
And they put a unique number on everything you buy from them, which you can register online, so that if someone finds it, you have a chance of recovering it.
Of tracking it. So, £119 is, of course, not a small amount of money. And the style might not be quite to your taste.
It is very chunky folio style.
It's very chunky folio style. I'm also not keen about these snap buttons. Require quite a lot of pressure to fit, and with an iPhone and iPad in there, that feels a little unsafe to me. Comes in a bunch of different colours. Basically, it's a nice little thing.
It is nice, and it's a good kind of pull your life together in one place.
Yeah, just pick up one thing or lose one thing. That's always the danger.
It's one of the where you acknowledge that the iPad is part of a suite of tools that you need, rather than the special gadget has special case.
Yes, absolutely. And exactly that. It's the recognition that you do need, in my case, in business cards, pens, pencils, and notepads and that sort of stuff. You can indeed slip a little moleskin notebook in there rather than an iPad mini, should you so...
Can you?
So desire. Yes, you can. I'm going to take the battery out first.
And then...
There we go, not a problem.
Smooth.
And it's never going to come out of there again. But you've got another one that you quite liked.
Yes, speaking of special case, of special product, we're sort of going back to, but this is an iPad Air case from Evutec, and it is actual Kevlar with a capital K, the brand Kevlar, rather than just some generic hard-wearing fibre. And what I really like about it is that it is so thin and light. The style isn't particularly to my taste and won't be to everyone's, but it is ludicrously thin and light. Yeah. I popped this on to review it for the magazine, and normally I take cases off pretty quickly afterwards, because for the most part I don't use them. I just have the smart cover on my iPad, and this I have left on because you don't really notice it's there, except it makes the back feel nice,
and it protects it from scratches.
It weighs nothing.
And you still got the magnetic line there, so you can connect up your smart
It's
case.
so crazy thin, and I can still connect the smart cover to it, and it sits upright in the smart cover and everything with absolutely no problems. It's actually, as I say, I don't know about the colours. It's because it's this Kevlar weave, and you can feel the weave as you
and that's in show to Tom where he is. The nice thing about it is we've seen a lot of products
covered in fingerprints.
I know, it's a little bit greasy. Products like this which just print on a carbon fibre or a Kevlar style weave, or they sort of bake it into the plastic, but it's not actually layers of woven fabric with a resin around it, whereas that actually is, which is quite nice. How much is it? Can you remember?
It's quite expensive. It's like 70 quid for the iPad Air one.
70?
Something like that.
Likes.
It is, not so cheap, but it is, really nice.
Yeah. Well, that's consistent, if nothing else.
Well, exactly.
What we're doing. Let us know what you think of any of the stuff we talked about in today's show. The NFC chip coming in the iPhone 6, using that as a mobile payment. Would you trust your iPhone as your credit card, your debit card if you're out and about? Or would you just worry about losing one, both, and all of them at the same time? IFA stuff. The smartwatches, to be honest, they still don't strike me as being especially exciting. Let's see what Apple does. We expect Apple to launch some sort of wearable on Tuesday at this stage. Although
as much as I ever expect Apple to do anything.
Yes, but I think it'll be different to what we're seeing. But let us know what your hopes and dreams and ambitions are for the Apple wearable in the comments below. And of course, let us know what you think of these cases too. Do you use a case on your iPad? Is there one you especially like? Do you like the look of the ones we've got here? Or do you think they're utterly rubbish and that we're stupid for liking them? Let us know in the comments below.
Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos just like this one. And don't forget, you can watch all of our past episodes of the Extravaganza. And you can get a free trial of the interactive iPad app edition of MacFormat at macformat.com/iPad.
That's it for this week. We'll see you next week.
Bye. I thought you can do iCloud. The chip and pin thing is interesting.
I know. The problem is
because that's actual news.